All right, Wholesale Real Estate Weekly Update number 26. Good week this week. We are 3 weeks into pretty consistently purchasing leads from Red Panda and property leads, filtering in some things from Zolo Club and some iSpeed leads coming in. Right now on the board, we got 3 contracts that are signed that we're kind of actively working. First stages for 2 of them right now are getting photos. One of them was still getting on photos. Team's evaluating one of the other ones as well. So I got one in Alabama right now, one in West Virginia, one in Oklahoma. We had to go through the disclosure and everything on that one. Still kind of waiting to get feedback on that. I think we might be a little bit high, and I kind of explained that to the seller. We're kind of going through and just like doing a deeper dive into the market just to look. But again, I think we're a little bit high on that. So we'll have another conversation probably in the next day or two once I get a little bit more feedback. Other than that, the Alabama property, this is just land. There's a mobile home on it. It is a tear down for the mobile home. There was fire damage that was put on it, and this is pretty rural. So got that one for $25,000. I see things in the area that show that like a quarter of an acre is $12,000. So, we're like an acre and a quarter. So it's a possibility that, we're pretty under to get this thing moved, but the ruralness of it and kind of just where it's sitting and located, again, still might be a little bit high on that one. So we'll see. West Virginia one, we're just waiting on photos. It is a little old lady. I'm probably going to have to try to get somebody out there or do some leg work to get that done. She was sick this week, so definitely kind of like letting her ease and get herself situated. But she said to call her back on Monday, so we'll see what happens on Monday. I might end up having to front a little bit of money to get somebody out there to take some pictures, but that'll be fine. We'll see what happens with that one. So 3 contracts on the board. We've been having a lot of conversations. A lot of leads are coming in. A lot of them are not converting, but there are a lot of opportunities that are sitting in there that are kind of being nurtured within follow-up. So definitely making offers on majority of the calls that are within the right price bucket, but not necessarily getting a commitment on a close. But we'll see what happens on those. I'm definitely going to follow up with a lot of them. I probably have 6 or 7 that are potential things that could happen. Just need to explain the process and potentially just get them to open up to the idea of allowing me to put this in front of other buyers and see if we can get it moved for them. Going into some other things that happened this week, went live with Scoob. I love the idea of that. He kind of talked about, wanting to put himself out there, and he sees people that are active in this community to you and just making calls and really actually putting themselves out there. So he was trying to do this with a handful of people. I love the idea. I think going live just creates a sense of pressure that like tries to make you have to perform. I think some people don't like it because it creates a sense of pressure and it makes their calls potentially a little worse, but I like the act of being a part of something. It makes it feel a little bit different. I kind of like a little bit of that pressure on the line too. Other than that, let's go into some of the crazy calls I had. So I had a conservatorship call. The only thing I know about conservatorships was like Britney Spears, and that kind of like ruined her life and it made it really difficult. I talked to this 60-year-old lady who her son's wife has a conservatorship on her, and like I go to the deed, look at the title, and clear enough, the names that she's listing off, she's on there, and so is the daughter-in-law. She's like, she's 25, she's ruining my life. She's all these other things made me waste all my money on this condo that I didn't even want. It's so small. And I was like, I don't know how to help you. I tried to like get it to where I could potentially get on the phone with her, her being the daughter-in-law, but like I couldn't get past I think she did have a little bit of a reason that she's under a conservatorship, but like, I really don't know. The numbers that she was spitting out, they were super high. It was a condo. She paid like $430 for it. Things that are selling in that area for like the $330s to $360s. So like, I don't know what's going to happen with her. And I think she's starting to realize that she doesn't want to be there. She kind of hates those kids. Brutal situation. Another call I had, couldn't tell you where. I think it was New York, maybe. Can't tell you the name. I can't remember it. I was sitting in a one-on-one with Audrey, who's like a badass and constantly putting in the reps, putting in the dials. Had a conversation with this lady right off the rip. She immediately said, "What's your offer?" Threw me off my tracks. Didn't know how to really respond. Kind of chuckled it off and like, let's just have a conversation. We went through. I got so fixated on price and condition that I just kind of stayed within that lane because that was where she was taking it. 100% she was in control of that conversation. I was not. I immediately got off the phone with her. She ended up hanging up on me. I said, Audrey, dude, just call this lady. Like, this is a fresh Red Panda lead. He broke the barrier a little bit more. He took the reins, took charge a little bit more, and like got her to take her guard down, but she's still like just price shopping. Like, she's not super serious. She's going to go and talk to 20 different people and write down whoever's the highest and probably go with them from the way it sounds. So hated that conversation. It was cool to see the mismatch, the different approaches right off the rip from the same lead, because I could hear that call. What else happened? There's a handful of other people where, you know, you're getting texts that are coming through that are just like very aggressive and like, what's your number? What's your offer? And like, you go back and forth with these people. Had one of those, ended up calling him yesterday morning, and we had a very, very good conversation, understood the needs that he was trying to accomplish, why he needs to sell, what selling looks like for him, why he might have hesitation towards selling it, and just like a couple other things. So like, you can't judge some of these conversations based off of the initial responses that they're giving off, especially with like texting. Like, there's no emotions that are in texting. So like, don't prejudge any of these leads coming in. Just literally go into the conversation trying to go through your sales process and understanding the problem that you're trying to solve with these sellers. I think that's pretty important. And like, I got to remind myself that pretty consistently to not prejudge or create any kind of assumptions going into any kind of call. Past that, let's just talk about some of the leads that came in this week. So right now I'm using Red Panda, Property Leads, iSpeed to Lead, and Zolo Club. I'm a part of that. This week I got a total of 41 leads that entered my system from Monday through Friday. 7 of them from Red Panda. 5 of those have been connected. 1 contract came out of that. Property leads, 6 of them. I bought 6 property leads, all nationwide. 3 of those connected. Still trying to connect with the other ones. Zolo Club, got 19 of those and just kind of put them into the system. 4 of those have connected. Nothing has come of that. iSpeed to Lead, bought 9 leads. 4 of those have connected. Red Panda, obviously, this week was the winner. I got a contract that was signed out of that one. That was the Oklahoma one. That is still the one that I think we're going to be a little bit too high on, but we're kind of doing some double checking and just making sure that the numbers are right, or at least figuring out where we need to be to make it work. Connection rate, Red Panda was probably the best this week, without a doubt. I don't bank too much on Zolo Club and iSpeed to Lead for connections, but I know that eventually I will get a conversation out of those. One cool thing that's happening that hasn't happened yet is Red Panda is unleashing something next week where RJ is going live on Tuesday. I think it's going to be tailored to the back end aspect of dispo. So they've, honed in on where these disposition companies, where do they have in buyers that they know that if they get a deal locked up inside of said place, they should be able to move it. It seems as though they're trying to make some sort of package or something that's tailored towards those specific areas, so you can buy leads in a market that you know that's definitely going to move. So I'm excited for that. Definitely going to try it out when it comes out. It seems like it's one of those no-brainer kind of things to try, just depending on the price. Other than that, this week coming up is going to be consistently still turning on Red Panda, turning on property leads, might switch to metro leads for property leads and buy a little bit less than the nationwides. I'm still absolutely getting hammered with the ruralness of the property leads nationwide. So I might need to change my course and just go ahead and dish out the more money to get the metro leads so that I'm in an area that has a little bit better odds of moving something, because there was a handful of properties that's like, I can't do anything with this. There was a population of like 300 people with one of the leads that I got in. Dude, super motivated to sell, but like, it doesn't matter. Like, I can't move it. There's nothing I can do with it. So we'll see. I think I need to go ahead and fork out a little bit more money, get some of the metro leads going through. I definitely still want to acclimate the shared leads list. I just can't get people to necessarily jump on board with it. It's just an extra step that people have to do. I think it would be very, very beneficial. But again, I just don't think people are really, I don't know if it's hesitation, if it's an extra step. I don't know where the hiccup is with it. But I kind of want to promote that a little bit more because I mean, everybody's got different exit strategies. Everybody has different like just ways that they approach this thing, that where a lead might not work for me, it might work for somebody else. And it would just be constantly going through to where you're still getting these PPL leads that you would be buying anyway. So I don't know. I want to push that out there for sure. But good week this week. We got one contract. We got, 3 things in the pipeline. Don't feel super confident with most of them, but again, this is just a volume game. So we're just going to keep them going, keep buying the leads, keep making offers, and keep getting some contracts to where we can solve a problem and get something across the finish line for somebody. Remember to stay happy, hungry, and humble, and I'll see you next week.